Well, when do you want to retire? 65, 70? Well, a store greeter out of California Nordstrom has gone a lot longer than that. Listen to this. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ron Marasco. Now, since the verdict was read last night, people across the country have been holding rallies and offering their opinions. ABC 5's Sabrina Ahmed is live in the newsroom with more. Sabrina. Police say the man accused of killing 2 people and holding 3 children hostage in a Trenton, New Jersey standoff has died from gunshot wounds. When 21-year-old Leroy Gordon III was shot at 21st Street and Forest Avenue. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ron Marasco. Friends and family gathered tonight to remember the young man who lost his life. ABC 5's Phil Prazen was there and is live in the studio with tonight's top story. Phil. Well, she's been the face and voice of ABC for a long time, but now she's ready to retire. Barbara Walters will make the announcement tomorrow on The View. Amanda, the city of Des Moines and Union Pacific Railroad want to dead-end 3 streets on the city's east side. Now, they've already voted twice in favor of the closings. They cast their 3rd and final vote tonight. Some of Des Moines' east side residents believe they're being railroaded. Okay, so the key is to sleep in tomorrow, oversleep, and then get up when it's warm.
Yeah, you sleep in, skip work, or call in sick, one of those things.
Something like that.
I'll set my alarm for 1 in the afternoon.
There you go.
You do anyway, I think. Well, 2 Iowa cupcake bakers battled it out on national TV tonight. Creme Cupcake in Des Moines and the Ames Cupcake Emporium competed against a 3rd cupcake baker in tonight's episode of Cupcake Wars on the Food Network. For the Blacks, this is their field of dreams. They say they wouldn't do anything else. Talk about the Grinches that tried to steal Christmas, huh?
Yeah, good thing they didn't get away with it.
That's right. Not successful, just like the Grinch, I guess. On Friday, the Dow set a new record high for a 34th time. It's now up 23% so far this year, heading for its best annual gain in a decade. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ron Marasco. The loans will go from their current interest rate of 3.4% to 6.8%.
There is some hope on the 10-day that maybe we're going to get close to breaking this awful cycle.
Not only has this cold weather taken a toll on me, you were talking about cars, but my car has actually taken a beating from this cold weather.
I was going to say, you know what,
Hasn't started, the window broke. Ugh. You might think a foot of snow the last 5 days would make a dent in our drought situation. Not so. That equals just an inch of water. Well, if you purchased a Powerball ticket from a Northwest Iowa gas station, check your ticket because you could be $1 million richer.
I think after Kevin McAllister, an incident like that would never happen again.
That's true. Wow, how does that even happen? That is crazy.
I believe Kevin McAllister bumped into the flight attendant, spilled the tickets everywhere, and then he just kind of talked his way onto the plane.
I guess that would explain.
Maybe that's how you do those kind of hood rat things.
Well, if you've ever driven down Hickman Road during rush hour, you may do a lot of this or this. But don't blame the Hickmans. They didn't have anything to do with it. In less than 8 years, Don has seen West End architectural salvage go from the bottom to the top of the retail salvage industry.
Ron, I know you're getting kind of old up there and you like the heat, so you might have to turn it on tonight.
I will turn it on. I'll have my mittens out and my stocking cap and the
there
PJs.
You go.
All right, Sam, thanks. Well, the average price for a gallon of gas continues to drop. According to the Lundberg survey, the average price for a gallon of regular gas is $3.36.
You might want to wear an extra tight hat on Thursday right now.
All right, I'm going to put a double dose of Aquanet on my anchor hair.
Glue that thing down. It'll be fine.
All right, Sam, thanks. Now, when we hear Sherman Hill, we generally think of all these beautiful old historic homes. Hoyt Sherman doesn't come to mind. He's the man this neighborhood was named after. My heating bill is getting out of hand, Sam, and next weekend is not going to help. Good for them. And Joey, I know in our intense basketball games, the Taliban couldn't stop us either.
Yeah, we're pretty competitive, but most of those guys look like they're in better shape than me.
That's for sure.
Des Moines Animal Rescue League lived up to its name today. They were responsible for rescuing 300 animals from a strange situation.
ABC 5's Ron Marasco has the details. It's tonight's top story.
The population of the Animal Rescue League in Des Moines rose by 50% in just one day. In conjunction with law enforcement, the ARL seized more than 300 live animals from a property in Drakesville, and in an image that may be hard to look at, 50 dead ones.
And not only that, but they were with the live animals. So there really wasn't an excuse for this.
As soon as we went into the house, it was just, I mean, the smell was horrible, of course. And then as we walked through and started taking the inventory, we just knew that it was going to be bad.
From pigs to chickens to goats to chinchillas, Rescue League workers had their hands full.
I think this is probably the first case that I've ever gone in to find someone having different species. Usually it's one species or maybe two.
Of the 300 live animals brought back, many, if not most, have to be nursed back to health.
Pretty much all the animals that we dealt with were in horrendous conditions.
With such a large intake in such a short period of time, the ARL will be taxed to provide the care the animals need.
Well, it's going to be a strain, and especially when you're talking about multiple species like this.
Tonight, they're moving the animals to more sanitary cages and making sure they have food and water.
It makes me feel happy to be able to rescue the ones that we could and get them back here and certainly get them in a clean environment.
ARL officials are also asking the public for donations to help care for the animals. As far as the man who hoarded them, we're told police charged him with animal neglect.
Rabbits are going in activity center.
In Des Moines, Ron Marasco, ABC 5 News. This week on our Farm to Family feature, we head north to Alden. That's where a young school teacher 30 years ago gave up her career, took over the family farm, and against all odds, turned it around after her father died. Annette Sweeney used to drive this 70-year-old McCormick tractor when she was a teenager. Her father did too, but 2 years after he passed away in 1981, she jumped back on it after a conversation with her mother.
She goes, "I need you home." And I said, all right. And it was very difficult because I was really enjoying teaching, but I knew it was a decision that I needed to make because I wanted to make it work.
She asked a lot of questions, did a lot of homework, and then hopped on a tractor she never drove before.
I ran in the house, grabbed the owner's manual, and brought it out. We pulled up to a field on the blacktop, had the owner's manual in my lap, and we planted corn and beans that spring.
It took about a decade, but she turned the struggling farm around.
It was more of a fire that I had inside me to make sure that our family farm stayed together and to honor what my grandparents and my mom and my dad had put together.
Annette tells the story of when a neighbor years later stopped by her farm.
He rolled down his window, just a gruff old German, and he said to me, "Annette." "Yes, sir." "You did a good job." Rolled up his window and pulled out. That was all he said. That was the best compliment I could have ever gotten.
Today, Annette and her husband also raise Angus cattle and horses.
Hello, Cracker. How's my Cracker?
She said it was hard work, but has no regrets.
Farming is in my heart. Farming and being able to be involved in agriculture is something I want to do until I take my last breath.
30 years have passed since you've taken over the farm.
Yes.
How'd it go?
I'm happy.
Good.
I'm happy that I'll be able to pass it on to my kids. We strived. We worked very, very hard. We made sure we cut corners. We were very frugal on our decisions, and I'm happy.
Annette and her husband say they'll leave the farm to their 2 boys. She says, after all, farming's not just for women.
And it's not just Mid-American crews who are working hard through the weekend. ABC 5's Ron Marasco continues our cleanup coverage tonight. Ron.
That's right, Rachel. If you drove around some metro neighborhoods today, you probably saw a lot of trees down. Not only has that kept tree removal companies busy, but electricians and roofers too, because many of those trees landed on power lines and roofs. You probably heard a lot of that today and saw a lot of this, and this, and this.
I thought maybe it was just this big clap of lightning that hit. So then my roommate comes and she goes, a tree just fell on the house. I'm like, what? So I go outside and I'm like, holy crap.
Randy Meese of Action Electric has been answering the phone all day.
And is your electrical wires down in the yard?
He's had to do a lot of shuffling today.
We don't look forward to anything like that for our customers, but, you know, I mean, we pulled some crews off of other jobs to kind of, you know, get everyone back online, and so, you know, whatever we have to do to keep everybody going.
Wright Roofing has been busy too.
Today we're just trying to kind of prioritize and get the worst stuff taken care of, people with 12-inch limbs in their house, things like that.
This house was actually one of the luckier ones. The owners only had a few shingles blow off the top. Still, the roof needed to be patched so any rain wouldn't leak inside. Homeowner Dan Rasmussen of Des Moines says it's been many years since he's seen something like this. His street was blocked last night because of all the downed trees.
People were driving up on the lawns down there to get around the downed trees. Can you believe that?
Wow. Now, some of the companies we spoke to said they received at least double the amount of phone calls today they normally receive. They said they expect the phones to keep ringing the next few days. Reporting live in the newsroom, Ron Marasco, 10 at 10 on ABC 5.